Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 12th episode of Conversations with T. This is T herself, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Instead of featuring one guest, I have two. I had very interesting conversations with both of these ladies in previous episodes, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to them about topics which I feel the three of us are quite passionate about. How are you guys, Aqsa and Samha?
I have been good. Thank you for having us back on your show.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's always an honor to come back to your show like this.
Thank
Very
you.
excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys tell the audience a bit about yourselves, for those people who may have come across my channel for the very first time. Tell us where you're from, your age, and 3 interesting facts about yourselves.
Okay. Aqsa, you want to go ahead?
No, I was going to ask you to, lead first. Please take the lead. No, please somehow take the lead.
All right. Okay. So, my name is, of course, Samha, and I'm from Bangladesh, and I have just turned 26 last month. So 3 interesting facts about me is that I was born on summer solstice, which is the longest day and the shortest night of the year in the northern hemisphere. And another, I guess it might be interesting or not, I don't know, but another fact about me is that I have a degree in hospitality and tourism management. But I really wanted to study psychology because I love everything related to this subject, and it's really interesting to me. I also love psychological thriller movies as well. And also, I can kind of make my ears dance. You can't obviously see me doing it, so I guess you just have to take my word for it.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Your turn, Aqsa.
Well, my name is Aqsa, and I come from India. I am 23 years old. And, 3 interesting facts. I don't know exactly how interesting these would be, but let's just go ahead with those. When I guess my mother, when she was bearing me as a fetus, she survived 3 accidents. My parents together, they had survived about 3-4 accidents, and they call me the miracle baby in my home. And then the second fact perhaps would be that I like writing, and I enjoy writing fiction and non-fiction alike. I also write. I'm a writer on Wattpad, and I am often found, in quiet places in my home, trying to, get all these plots and stuff. And third fact would be I really, I guess you can say, I enjoy, the things. Plane rides, everything related to plane rides. I like the idea. I wanted to actually become a pilot initially, but then somehow over the years that thought just did not match up with my other activities and my other hobbies that I had been developing. So, yes.
Aqsa, you never told me that the first time I found out.
Oh yeah, because you asked me to mention 3 interesting facts, I just realized that, okay, this could be interesting,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, you guys. I want to start off this episode by having a discussion about loneliness. I don't know about you guys, but I see this to be a silent epidemic. There are some people who may feel as though they're the only ones on this planet who feel misunderstood, but I don't think they're aware of the fact that this is a very common problem, and there are other individuals out there who could relate. I also think that there's still a stigma associated with being a loner or even being someone with just 1 or 2 friends, despite more awareness being spread about introversion and whatnot. Now, with that said, what do the both of you have to say about it?
Well, indeed, there is a huge stigma. And for a really long time, I felt lonely because I couldn't relate to anybody. And it came to a point where I started having doubts about myself until one day I took this personality test, And that personality test really helped me realize that I'm not the only one. And then I started to understand myself a lot better, like after studying the result and after doing some research on it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I've started to realize my own potential after that. And I feel like in this fast-paced society, people easily feel left out because everyone is expected to fit into certain categories, which is quite toxic in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that a lot of people think that introversion automatically means that you're socially awkward, which is definitely not the case all the time.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I do agree,
And
yes. I agree, yes.
yeah.
I would also say that social media plays a very big role in people feeling left out and whatnot. We tend to post pictures or videos that show the highlights of our lives, such as going on vacation or spending time with friends. And when we see these posts of other people having fun, we start feeling left out. We mislead ourselves by believing things like, oh, they're so happy, they hang out every day, they have so much fun with each other, etc. But the reality could be very, very different. I mean, for all we know, their friendships could be fake and they bring each other down behind their backs. And it may also be that they don't see each other as often, and that one picture or video of their get together was the only time that they actually got to meet up. The point that I want to make is that we can't really know someone based on what they post online. I mean, they show you what they want to show you, and the opposite is also true. They hide what they don't want us to see.
Absolutely, I agree.
Samha, do you want
Yeah, I agree too, like exactly. And that's kind of dangerous because sometimes you can't help but you end up comparing yourself, or you compare your life with those people on social media, and it makes you depressed,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely it does. It does. And I think especially in our society today where young-minded people or youth, I would say, who are heavily influenced by social media, I think it takes a very difficult thing. It takes a very challenging toll on them and their minds. Because I suppose if you are an adult or somewhat of our age, like our age group, then it is not that hard because we are now slowly understanding life and how it works. But for people who are younger than us and who are just starting to understand what life can be like, it can be very toxic to them because now they start to think that our life is not perfect as theirs and everything should be perfect, and these guys, they have really good lives out there, they're living, they're vacationing, they're fulfilling their dreams, they're having money, they're fulfilling their goals, but in reality it is really different. They
Mm,
could be just
yeah,
everything that they see on social media is not true. They just want us to see what they want us to see. It's all selected. They don't really show
yeah,
you all their life. They don't show you the bad sides. They don't show you the good sides. They only just, they make sure that they're showing only what they want you to see. So if unless you're aware of that fact, then there's a lot of trouble that will come upon you if you don't really
yeah,
take notice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah.
I came across a statement which was actually quite interesting. So basically, social media is made to help people connect with each other and whatnot, but it's actually making us feel the opposite. We actually feel more disconnected, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely, yeah, I think I
and,
agree, yeah.
and I've been doing some thinking these days, and I I came to the conclusion that one scary thing about loneliness is that a person can become a very easy target for the wrong people to take advantage of him or her. The reality is that these individuals don't care about that person. They just use them for their own twisted agendas. At first, they would act super nice, empathetic, and welcoming towards the victim. And as the victim starts warming up to them and opens up about their struggles and whatnot, they would become more lenient towards adopting their messed up and false ideologies. And next thing you know, they they could end up a completely different person, and they may even start calling other people to the values and belief systems that they had been conditioned to believe by those criminals, and they're just pawns of a chessboard, which they don't realize, and that's dangerous. And you guys want to know something else? The internet is actually a very easy place for things like that to happen. And with that said, parents, siblings, teachers, and relatives, they must be mindful of that fact, and they must take responsibility over those whom they're in charge of. Now, whoever is listening to this episode, please do not take this matter lightly. It's very real. It's horrific. People end up losing their identities, or in extreme cases, even their lives, as a result of joining these so-called online support groups in inverted commas.
Cyberbullying and I think the notion of cyberbullying and everything, especially in today's world, it is not taken seriously though. I mean, it is. I don't understand why, but any kind of cybercrime, if you go around and you try to talk about this to anybody, they just tell you that this is an online world. You don't have to worry about it, and they just push that idea behind. But the problem is that we don't realize social media and everything has grown so much more impactful in our lives, and if it's just as though you're actually dealing with something in real life, right? So if you're going to push something like that away, we'll never be able to, even as parents, I think most importantly, it's just these elders that we have around us and all our parents and I think relatives, the older ones, they don't really understand the fact that cybercrime is real and it can get horrible. The outcome, the consequences can be terrifying. I have come across some cases where the girls or the people I had contact with, they suffered serious consequences. It really blew my mind as to how much social media can impact our lives. Everything can be destroyed in just one click of a button. It's that sort of a I think it's really dangerous. We have to really be mindful of that.
Yeah, it really is so scary, and this kind of thing happens more than we know, and
exactly,
it's very easy. Yeah, and it's very easy to fall prey into these type of things, especially when you're in a vulnerable state.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yes.
This is why you need good friends who would check up on you and whatnot. Even if you have like one or two, it really does not matter. I personally think one of the advantages of having very few friends is that it may be easier for someone to find genuine people whom, they could relate to and trust. I also believe that the opposite is true. It can become difficult to find people who would actually be there for you and whatnot if you happen to be a person with a high social status. People would only want to associate themselves with you because of your reputation, and that's it. They do it so that they can feel good about themselves and have this sort of validation. The reality, however, is that they don't really care about you as a person. They only see you as a tool for becoming more popular. And yeah, I'll tell you guys something. This happens to be one of the reasons why I don't show my face or reveal my actual name on social media. I'm not a huge fan of such individuals, and I don't really need them in my life. I won't fall for someone's super nice treatment towards me just because I may have an online presence on Instagram or whatever. Yeah, I think I'd make it quite obvious that I don't like them by acting all reserved and distant and whatnot. Being the INFJ I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can relate because I too am an INFJ, so definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
The three of us are INFJs, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
It's like a big deal. I don't know. It's like we've never. I wish we had met earlier in our lives. I would have been so much
I
more
know.
happier.
I know, and sadly, like our society has become all about statuses, and
Exactly.
just like just like how people pose for social media and act all fake, they do it in real life too. And I feel like the higher your status, the more attention and so-called respect people try to give you. But I feel like respect should be given to everyone, no matter the status.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. every human deserves respect, but the problem is that our society has become really negative, and they have just become really weird about it. They don't give you respect unless you have some sort of a rank or some sort of a social, like Titi has mentioned, there has to be some sort of you have to have some sort of social status to be able to, to have respect or to be given respect, which I think is really odd as a thought or as a notion, that you deserve respect only if you are some sort of a big person, or you are some sort of personality. I know in my own family there are people who, I mean, I cannot even tell you how horrible they treat those
Yeah.
outside, the beggars and the poor people. The way they disregard them is horrifying. It's almost like you're not a human being at all. You don't really
Yeah.
realize.
Exactly.
That's
I
Exactly.
mean,
actually a shame.
exactly. The point is that you are a human being. You need to give the other human being some sort of a respect, regardless of their status, regardless of their reputation. I don't know why. I think that is just a very. The problem is that it's not just the elders. It's not just that these kind of things that you do, they just don't really impact you as a person, but they impact the ones around you as well, like your children and your siblings and your family, your parents, and everyone around you. So that becomes even more challenging, because now you have to teach these little ones that you're not to do that way, you're not to behave that way, because they now see their parents and their elders doing and behaving that way with the beggars and the poor people. They're like, oh, that is okay, you're supposed to behave like that with those people, and you're supposed to behave in this manner with the bigger people. I think that is very
Right.
disturbing, to be honest. It's really disturbing and very disheartening, not to mention.
Definitely, it is. And another thing I want to say is that that I don't like about our society is that people think that you should, like, just because uh, just because they're elders, you need to respect them. But no, you need to, like, no matter the age or no matter what, you need to respect everybody. It doesn't matter if you're older than me, or it doesn't matter if you're younger than me. Respect
Exactly.
is respect. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
It's very true.
yeah,
Especially, I
you should
think
also, yeah, even like you need to is sorry, you were saying.
no, no, please, I was saying you need to continue. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying that even like you need to respect animals as well, like
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I am a huge animal lover. I'm telling you, it breaks my heart when people are rude to animals and they, hurt them for no reason whatsoever, only for the sake of, I don't know. There are these people who actually do. It's very sick to think about it, but people hurt animals to gain some kind of social status. I don't know. I've heard of
Yeah.
these people who do this to somehow gain some sort of following, and they want attention,
Yeah.
and so cut off some animal's tail, some dog's tail, they want to cut off some cat's ear. I'm like, how does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? It's really pathetic to think about it.
Yeah.
Definitely I
And I
in
have,
that.
yeah, definitely, I've also seen videos of I don't know why I even saw it. I couldn't finish the whole video, but I saw
Oh,
this video of some boys beating up a dog just for a video, just for social media. How
That's pathetic.
inhuman is that?
That's just pathetic.
Yeah.
it is basic human understanding. I think it's kind of like logic. You need to understand and you need to differentiate between what is good and what is wrong, and what is bad and what is
Mm.
right. But the thing is that most of the people around us, they don't know what is right and they don't know what is wrong. Like, I don't, it is very simple to understand that beating a doll is wrong. But if you go and you acknowledge those people, the abusers, they're going to not tell you that, and they won't accept that they're doing it wrong. They're doing wrong. They'll tell you, rather I think they'll, instead they'll just tell you to be the one who is, the one who's doing wrong with them. So I think the idea, I think it just makes, I don't know. I think it just is dependent upon individuals. It depends on from person to person. You have to first of all
Yeah.
understand right and wrong. Then
Mm-hmm.
after that, you just understand. The notion of communication and how that works between people. I think that is one
Mm.
thing that really lacks in people today. Otherwise, if you talk to normal people, able to understand between the right and the wrong, it isn't that hard to communicate with them. But if they're not
Right.
able to understand the basic rights and the basic wrongs, then it is impossible to, even think about having that person.
Definitely.
It
No,
just becomes, it is
yeah, go on.
exactly that's no, that's it. I'm just telling.
No, I was just going to say that like some time ago, the both of us had a rather interesting conversation, and we were basically talking about our personal experiences with connecting with other people and making friends. And we both admitted that we found it difficult to build solid friendships or be able to relate with new people because we were let down by others many times in the past, and we found it more quote unquote safe to be alone because in a way we would reduce our chances of being rejected and experiencing the same hurt and disappointment again. And that was basically a trauma response to something which the both of us did not heal from. And even though it sucks, it's important to remember that not everyone is bad. I mean, there are good people out there, and other people's treatment or judgment towards us don't define who we are as individuals, nor do they define our worth.
Growing up, I was the shy and reserved kid back in school, so I did not really have close friends that much. But as I grew older, I began to make a lot of friends who eventually let me down, and it made me realize that it's better to have one real friend than 10 fake ones. And not only that, but it was also hard for me to truly connect to somebody, no matter how well I've gotten along with that person. And that would always hold me back. But eventually I stopped caring about this and I began to focus on myself instead. But however, I met my best friends in university, and I can now gladly say that they are my kind of people with whom I can truly connect with and feel comfortable with. So yeah, I guess it's okay if you're unable to find your kind of people at the moment. But trust me, they are indeed out there whom you will meet one time when the right time comes. Although I would say that our environment plays a big role in this too, because it's very difficult to find genuine people in a toxic environment.
I agree with you 100, like 100% agree with you.
Yes.
And I will also like to add something. If we keep pushing, if we keep pushing other people away from us in order to feel secure, we're just going to add to our loneliness, meaning we're going to make the problem worse instead of actually fixing it. Don't you think?
I agree. I think with people who have gone through trauma like us, it becomes easier for us to shut down ourselves than to face the world. That is the issue, So if you want to really not be consumed or not want, if you do not want to get consumed into your loneliness all over again, it is better that you do the right thing and not the thing that you think is the more comfortable one. The problem here is that we end up thinking that we want to protect ourselves because we've been let down so much, and so what we do is we just shift into a hole, and we think that hole will save and it will protect us. When in reality, the only if you go out into the world and when you start facing the real issues out there, that will make you more stronger and that will make you more immune to this idea of loneliness. Eventually it will be very difficult in the beginning. I agree. Initially, it will be very hard for you to go out there and to learn all of that and to be there for and to understand how people work and what kind of people you will face in life. But when you progress, you'll realize that it's okay and that now you've grown stronger and now none of this bothers you, and in that process also you will eventually find somebody for you out there. And it's better that you walk in that crowd and find somebody than sit in your home and sit within your walls and not want anybody, right? Like, I think that is how you need to be courageous. I think life is all about courage.
Definitely.
Life is about taking risks after all.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. That is the point. I mean, if you just become, I know and I understand that trauma can be very hard to heal from, but if you're not going to take the step forward, if you don't want to, you can't just stand in that one place, right? You can't just become stagnant like that. You need to move in order to go somewhere. So even if I think it's important to also understand that you don't have to think of the big picture all of a sudden. You're not supposed to be. I think especially for people who've gone through trauma, we tend to think of the bigger picture first. And then we go like, no, I don't want to take that next step because it's too much.
Exactly.
That. So I think, especially when people, I think this advice I would like to give to everyone: do not think about the bigger picture. Just think of the next step. Then everything becomes
baby steps.
That's a great advice. Yeah.
Just the next step. Don't worry about what comes after that, because that will eventually come and it will be okay. You'll face it. Don't worry. But for now, the only thing you need to really focus on is what you will do next and how you can do it. That way, everything becomes a little bit easier for you. That's, I think, that I would like to say.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Aqsa.
that's
That was golden advice, and
yeah,
thank you, Samha, for participating as well. I really appreciate
of course.
both of your inputs into the topics that we have discussed, uh, and you guys are amazing. Thank you for joining me in today's episode, and it's
Ready.
it's getting late, so I'm gonna call it a day. Take care and bye bye.
Thank you so
Take
much for having
care and
me.
thank you for having us. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.